This is part 6 of chapter 1, Laws of Motion. If you haven't watched the first 5 parts, please click on the link in the description box below. Hey, this video was made just for you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Consider two objects having different masses which are initially at rest. The initial momentum for both is 0. So if you remember, the formula for momentum was mass into velocity, and since they were initially at rest, their initial velocity would be 0. And when you multiply mass into 0, it would be 0. Therefore, their initial momentum would be 0. Suppose a force F acts for time t on both objects. The lighter object starts moving faster than the heavier objects. So if two objects with different masses are at rest and you apply equal forces on both of them, the lighter object would move faster and earlier than the heavier object. However, from the above formula, we know that the rate of change of momentum is F. So rate of change of momentum was mass into acceleration, and that was proportional to F in both objects. So when the force in both objects is same, the total change in their momentum will also be the same, that is force into time t. So we were applying equal forces for equal time. So therefore the change in their momentum would be same. Thus, if the same force is applied on different objects, the change in momentum is the same. That is, how much the momentum is changing per unit time. That would be same if the same force was applied on them irrespective of their masses. In the SI system, the unit of force is Newton. So, force has a unit of Newton. Newton is denoted by the letter N. The force necessary to cause an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in an object of mass 1 kg is called 1 Newton. So that is the definition of Newton. 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg into 1 meter per second square. In CGS system, the unit of force is dyne. So dyne is the force necessary to cause an acceleration of 1 centimeter per second square in an object of mass 1 gram. So that is 1 dyne. So 1 Newton is equal to kg meter per second square, but 1 dyne is equal to gram centimeter per second square. Use your brain power. Why is there a thick bed of sand for a high jumper to fall on after his jump? So if you would have noticed in the Olympics or other sports competitions, for high jump they keep a very big thick bed so that when the high jumper falls from the height, he does not get hurt. Now we will study about Newton's third law of motion. Let's try this. Take a plastic boat and make a hole at its rear end. Rear end is near the back side. So you have to take a plastic boat and make a hole near the back of the boat. Inflate a balloon means blow a balloon and fit it on the hole in the boat. So you have to take the blown balloon and the mouth of the balloon you need to put at the hole. Release the boat in the water. What happens to the boat as the air in the balloon escapes slowly, and why? So if you would leave the boat in the water along with the balloon, the air from the balloon will hit the water and push the boat forward. So why does this happen? This happens because of Newton's third law of motion, and we will learn about this ahead. We have learnt about force and its effect on an object through Newton's first and second laws of motion. So the first law of motion, which was talking about inertia, and the second law of motion, which was talking about momentum. So we learned how the force affects the motion of an object. However, in nature, forces cannot act alone. Force is a reciprocal action between two objects. So we will understand this using an example. Imagine this as the surface of a table, and on the table is a book at rest. The gravitational force pulls the book towards the surface of the earth. So, the book exerts a force on the table by gravity. And we cannot see it, but the table also exerts a force on the book in an equal and opposite direction. That is what this sentence means. Forces are always applied in pairs. Pairs is 2. So there's the force that the book is applying on the table and a force that the table is applying on the book. When one object applies a force on another object, the latter also simultaneously applies a force on the former object. That is, the first object also applies the force on the second object and the second object also applies the force on the first object. The forces between two objects are always equal and opposite. So here, the amount of force that the book is applying on the table is equal to the force that the table is applying on the book. And these both forces are in the opposite direction so that they cancel each other out. This idea is expressed in Newton's third law of motion. So Newton's third law of motion is basically explaining this phenomena. The force applied by the first object is called action force, while the force applied by the second object on the first is called reaction force. So when we kept the book on the table, the book is the first object, and when we place it on the table, it is creating an action force, and because of that, the table is reacting to that force by creating a reaction force. So the third law of motion tells us that every action force has an equal and opposite reaction force which acts simultaneously, that is, at the same time. So this is a summary table that explains to us Newton's third law of motion. Action and reaction are terms that express force. So in the Newton's third law, we had learnt about two terms, action and reaction, and these are different types of forces that are acting on different objects. These forces act in pairs, that is, they always act in twos. There is always two forces that are acting on certain objects. One force cannot exist by itself. So this is saying that without the presence of the other force, one force cannot be present. So as we seen earlier in the example of the book and the table, the book cannot exert the force on the table without the table exerting force back at the book, and vice versa. Action and reaction forces act simultaneously, that is, they act together. As soon as one force acts at the same time, the second force also starts acting on the object. Action and reaction forces act on different objects. So we had seen that action was the force that the book was applying on the table, and reaction was the force applied by the table on the book. So it tells us that action and reaction forces are acting on different objects. One was acting on the book and one was acting on the table. They do not act on the same object and hence cannot cancel each other's effect. Use your brain power. While hitting a ball with a bat, the speed of the bat decreases. So if you would have noticed while playing cricket or any other sport that involves a ball and a bat, when the ball is coming towards you, you swing your bat with full speed. As soon as your bat touches the ball and hits it, the bat speed decreases. A gun recoils, that is, moves backwards when a bullet is fired. So when you fire a bullet in the forward direction, the gun, as soon as you fire the bullet, moves backwards very slightly, and only the person who is actually firing the bullet will notice it, because the movement is very small, and as soon as the bullet is fired in the forward direction, the gun will recoil, that is, it will move backward. The mechanism of firing of a rocket. So when you launch a rocket into the air, there is a force created on the ground, and sometimes it also causes a depression in the surface of the ground. So these examples are best explained by Newton's third law of motion. For the answers to this exercise and other free worksheets, please go to jkacademypro.com. This was the end of part 6. For the part 7 video, please click on the link in the description box below.